together into the sections. Okay. So I just want, I think it's important for people to understand, hold on, that I don't know what your level of education is. I more or less know what people's ages are because it shows me in the back. But I think the biggest concern right now is that there's a misconception on social media that you need thousands and thousands of dollars to look a certain way to, and to some degree you probably do, right? Because people are always like, oh yeah, YouTube is the new television. And I was like, that's great that it's the new television, but not everybody has a commercial business that has thousands and thousands of dollars promoting them and putting and investing. I don't have any sponsors. I'm coming by myself. I'm in by myself. No sponsors. Okay. I didn't always believe in sponsorships are great, but that is not what I come from. So I am doing this out of my own steam and my own income, or whatever it is that I have at the time. I'm not making a whole bunch. Before I was making money teaching music, but because I have, oh gosh, an actual physical disability now, it has created a dilemma in how I go about doing things, right? I am not sponsored, folks. I do not have any sponsors. I've never had any sponsors. So, for me, I am not counting on maybe even receiving a sponsor. I mean, my sponsors were not really sponsors. They were jobs in the past. I had income. I had money that came in. I had financial stability to an extent. So for me, it was different. I didn't come in just learning how to do social media. It was nothing I was thinking of, because when I got out of university, the first thing the parents, or even before that, when I was in high school, parents were like, you need to get a job. So I got a job during high school, and I think I even had one in junior high. I did babysitting, and I was working at a dry cleaners. I think the dry cleaners was one of my first real jobs. So I'm coming from a background of actually having work requirements. But because I broke my leg, and now it's permanent, it has become a bit of a problem. Let me just do a bit of a problem. Let me just save, open recent. Let's do this. I haven't played this in a while. And all these pieces that I've done are pieces that I've produced. This is something I have been working on for decades. This is not an overnight thing. It wasn't because I thought it was like the coolest thing to do. It was something I was just learning to do because I learned these skills before. This is something that I studied back in the 90s, and even before that. In the 80s, I was composing. Yeah, I'll just play this. So I'm just going to talk through the confusion that people may have on what social media really is. Social media is great. It's not the way it used to be. It is a lot harder. I'm doing this because this is what I'm capable of doing right now with the circumstance I'm dealing with right now with my injury. But the talk was about, I came on here because I think the misconception of what people expect to see on screen versus the expectations of how you live your life is very different. And besides the fact that when you do the shorts don't necessarily count for they don't necessarily count for the hours. So the lives become like my video footage, editing, all that stuff. And you also save. So I'm not here to dress it up. I used to back in the day when I was younger. I know it's Friday and nobody really wants to like hear too much, but I think I just want to talk about the fact that you don't have to. I think the misconception is that people are always about this whole AI thing and how it has to look real. But in order for it to look realistic, right? For people to appreciate the aesthetics, people need to spend a fortune on doing the nails, on doing the hair. Nails, the hair. You know, nails cost maybe even $2,000. Back in the day when I started doing nails when I was younger, they didn't cost as much as it is now. I mean, I don't know why the exorbitant amount of money that costs like every month or every week you need to go and do your nails is ridiculous. Unless you get like not real nails. Like I prefer the not like the stick-on nails because it's just easier for me. And I used to do my hair, but then I started bleaching my own hair and I started doing my own stuff. So there are ways to save money to look a certain way, but for me, I have realized that saving money now is the conclusion. It's not about going out and overdoing it. Most of the videos you see me doing is just wearing a general black outfit because that is what I feel comfortable in. This is what I was teaching in. The black is always a color that I always used anyway, and it's just easier to deal with things. So I'm not going out there trying to overdress and overstyle myself just for the views and engagement on social media, which maybe the younger generation do, because maybe they don't realize that the cost of how that works is real money, and you could actually lose money by overdoing yourself with the makeup and the nails. Like, find things you can use consistently for like your entire life. I'm 40, I'll be 47 in like a few months. So for me, I've lived that life of youthfulness. I've lived the life of spending money that luckily I have never necessarily been in debt. That is one thing I was responsible, right? The responsibility, even starting at a young age by learning how to budget an account and how not to use the credit cards the wrong way, is honestly the right approach. I think the youth don't understand that understanding how a credit card works and not spending it on overdoing yourself just for social media is the actual smartest way to survive this new world that we're living in. When I buy clothing, a lot of the things that I sell I don't spend a lot of money on a lot of the stuff that I have. I find discounts and deals, and then if I need to sell stuff, I sell it online. So Poshmark is generally how I earn my money, right? So it's like a give and take. Fashion has always been part of my process, or I make stuff. That's the other option. You buy wool and you start making things out of wool, and you start producing things instead of overspending, making things you can either wear, which is what I was doing back in university. I didn't spend money on clothing. I literally, if I had the time and I had a sewing machine, I would be sitting and sewing something for myself to wear on a night out, or it was just different. So I learned the skill of fashion design and making things when I was in high school and junior high, because I didn't have the money and I wasn't going to ask my parents, Mom, Dad, can I go off and buy a new thing? No, I was there making my own stuff. So I think that is like the difference now, is people always expect to have the biggest and the best things. And I think in most cases, the biggest and the best puts you sometimes in debt. And that debt builds on. And my experience, thank goodness I've had many jobs. I haven't lived in one country my entire life, so the many jobs that I have had We're from different countries, and I've experienced how different countries kind of deal with certain things. And I don't have a sponsor. You're speaking to somebody that has no sponsors backing her. I have to do everything on my own. So I have to be wise of how I'm going to go about doing things. The equipment that I've had is equipment that I've gathered over the years. This stuff is over like maybe even 13 years old at this stage. 13 years old. You protect your equipment. As a musician, I always try to tell people, if you're gonna have equipment, make sure that you're protecting it. Have covers on it. Make your own covers. I made my own covers. Make your own soundproofing, which is what I did. Apparently, I've had neighbors not complain, which is surprising because everybody always says, whatever I've done here seems to have worked for the soundproofing. So I just think if you're going to have stuff, also learn how to take care of your stuff. Don't overspend. Find things that you like that will last forever, right? I wear black because black is just the easiest to keep clean and tidy, and it looks professional, and I keep it simple. And I had my hair dyed bleached. I bleached my own hair, but I didn't spend money like I used to for going to hairstylists. I cut my own hair. If I really need to do it, I dye my own hair. If I do my nails, I can't do my nails. The most important part of being a musician is, and I play piano, is to have short fingers. You can't do music and be productive in constructing something that's like this, like the sound, or building things, if you're constantly focused on the appearance and how you look. If it wasn't for my hands to be no-nailed, I wouldn't have built all this stuff. I built everything. I bought all this equipment by myself. So I'm just going in, my name is Cinta, I'm just going in to talk about the concerns that everybody spends a fortune on trying to look a certain way on social media, and I just find that in itself is doomsday. If you've never had a job, I've had jobs, thank God. If you've never had a job and you're trying to build your own social media platform, whether it's YouTube or any other place, people always try to outdo the next person to get the views. And I've decided, no, you stop doing that. You learn how to build things on your own. You assess the situation. You save your money. You repurpose it accordingly. You buy things wisely. I'm not going out and buying a Ferrari. I love Ferraris, but I ended up painting a Ferrari instead. I paint cars. So if I really want to do it, I would paint the painting of a car, so I can just imagine and say, oh, well, this is cool. This is what I'm going to like deal with now, right? So I'm not going to go too much into it, but I see everybody so focused on the Barbie doll look on social media that they forget that Barbie doll look, in most occasions, happens when you either have sponsors, or you have a lot of money, or you come from a family with money, or you have your own business, and all of these things. And if you have to start from ground zero, it's never going to be the case. You're always going to find yourself in debts if you're trying to outdo the next person. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. Like, I don't go off and do I don't go out and party. I don't go out and take trips. If I must take a trip, I'll go back to visit my parents in South Africa, which I haven't done recently. But I'm not being excessive with stuff. And if I do buy things, I make sure that everything that I have, like Yamaha equipment and Apple, sometimes Apple crashes, not always great. But I focus on trying to make sure that it will hold on. I take care of it. I don't think enough people in America understand that holding on to things and taking care of stuff can keep it looking as fantastic as it first looked when you first received it. Taking care of your health. Now I have a broken leg, so I have to constantly remind myself, not just like I'm wearing a corset, because it holds my stomach in, because my core has been dismantled because of the injury that I have, the permanent injury that I have in my leg now. So these are all the things you need to think about. I don't think enough people are putting the assessments in. And I spoke about business side of things. You know, when you have a job, you have the 401k, or if you work for yourself, it's the 1099. Now I have both. I have the 401k that I had from the jobs. So now that's been documented with the IRS, and I have done all that stuff. And then you have like the 1099 where you're working for yourself, self-employed. I've sort of started a business, but if you start a business, then you have to open up a business account, which I tried. The business account was a whole different story. You can create your own employee W-2 form with that, but that brings in more complications, because in order for that to happen, if you need your own 401k and you do start a business, you need to have at least $2,000 a month that you're earning to maintain your own business account. Business account. Not just an account, not just a bank account, but a business account. So I've seen that side too. And I was like, I certainly cannot afford doing that unless I have grants and sponsorships, which I do not have. I do not have grants and sponsorships. But those are the other things. Maybe people, and I'm hearing a lot of people are quitting social media now and trying to find the jobs. But the jobs will only happen if you haven't made a fool of yourself on social media. Once you've made a fool of yourself and you've tried to go viral doing stupid things, those companies will see you doing those stupid things and you will be fired off the bat. Guarantee it. I would never want to hire anybody, just like I would do if I ever get to the stage of ever hiring people in the future and I ever have money. I would make sure that I would go through all their background checks and all the social medias just to make sure that this person is legit. Because the moment I see something that is so ridiculous and horrific on social media just to get attention, that's a red flag for businesses. They do not want to see that. And as somebody that has started something like a business structured format, I would also want to not hire people that look and behave a certain way. So just coming from the background of somebody who's I've started my own LLC. I don't have regular income that comes in like a normal thing. I've started my Poshmark. I don't have grants. I don't do sponsorships. None of that. So I'm doing this on my own, independently, and I just know that if you're starting to learn how money works, you need to understand how to save money. And the way to save money is not to overspend on the way you look, okay? You spend on the skills and qualifications. That is what drives your skills. The appearance disappears, okay? That goes away over time. I can tell you when I was 25, 26, 19, 18, 17, I looked pretty decent. I had a very thin physique. I was doing modeling. I worked with photographers. I did the photography for models. There were all these things that go on in the back end. So I know how to set up an aesthetically pleasing environment. I know how to dress the models. I know how to dress myself for certain environments. It all takes roles. It all plays into those imageries that last no more than like 3 seconds to take a photograph. Then you have to pose the people. Then you have to make sure they look a certain way and you're angled in a certain way and the lighting is good. That is not forever. That is for that moment, because the imperfections will always be there. Nobody is perfect. You're not a perfect Barbie doll on social media. And if you try to be perfect, then you have like Kim Kardashian and all the other celebrities. You have the money to hire people to do the perfection spaces and analysis and making sure that you're positioned a certain way so you don't get the wrong angle and the public doesn't see the particular things that you don't want people to see. It's a staged format. It's a staged format. So that was what I wanted to quickly talk about, but I thought that it was important that I had a little short that I did, and the short basically showed me dressing up a little bit. I wouldn't do it as much as I used to. dressing up in a fake wig like everybody does, and the nails and the makeup and a little bit of a cool little interesting outfit, but it's not realistic. It's not realistic because if you're trying to be a professional, that's not going to hold up in an office space. They're going to look at you and say you look like a fool. You can't get hired because you've just now made a complete, as you would say in South Africa, doos of yourself on the social media platforms, just trying to get the views. So that's just my take. I thought it was important to bring it up. Just a brief explanation of how I feel about what's going on. As somebody who's done photography and modeling on both sides, okay, I've seen both sides. I've seen the back end and how people are treated as the model, and I've also been the photographer helping people dress and look a certain way and position themselves. So I've done my master's in arts. I also did my bachelor's in arts. And when you do your master's in arts and your bachelor's in arts, you learn certain skills and techniques and how lighting works and how to set up a particular environmental space, or go to a space that looks right for the garment that you're wearing, or style your makeup up accordingly. I'm a simple artist, okay? I'm a background type of person. I don't do like the fancy schmancy stuff. I might have before, but I was younger back then. Now I'm just living the way I think is right for me at 40, almost 47. So I'm just coming in. If you haven't seen my discussions, I'm always trying to break down the reality of society and people's beliefs on social media and how real life really actually is. Because if you have not earned money, you will not know how to save money. You will just think, I need to have the bestest of the best, and try to get a credit card and maybe not even be able to get a credit card because you have horrible credits because you don't have a job. And mommy and daddy's card is not going to work for you in the future. So to understand how to deal with aesthetics, you either learn how to make it yourself, make your own clothing, make your own stuff, take the nails off, learn some skills, get an education, and use those skills to build your space up, rather than going off and overspending to make the views happen because people just click because they want to see cool things happen. This is skill. This didn't happen overnight. Even the music background, I produced this. If I had my nails on and I was focused on constantly putting makeup on perfectly and my hair, I would have absolutely no time making any of the stuff that I do. I would have nothing to show. So it's just a brief conversation. I just always question how I don't know if it's the youth. I think it's mainly the youth and people who probably haven't experienced having real money. Like, how do you save? It's all about saving. Some people talk about, oh yeah, you got to spend everything. I'm like, no, you can spend once you have saved. Then you can spend. But if you don't have anything to spend and you're just buying stuff and spending money that doesn't exist, you're going to put yourself in debt. Simple as that. Don't do that. So I think that's my biggest concern, is that, everybody wants the biggest and the best look and the most beautiful person or whatever on social media. But honestly speaking, it's great for people who have all of those and the money, but it's not normal for the majority of all of us. Then we find ourselves in a position where we are basically stuck. I would say screwed, but I'm not going to say Anyway, so I just wanted to have a quick talk. I just feel, the other day I was outside and I spoke about lighting. If I turned all the lights off and I didn't have these lights on, I set this up and white reflects light. Okay, lighting counts for presentation on social media. If that is what people want, then going outside and filming like I did the other day is not always the right answer. You want to have an inside space where you've kind of sort of set it up for reflective lights. I have indoor and outdoor lighting. This is being filmed during the day. There's a big window from this side of me, from the right. Don't forget, this is reversed. Okay, so from the right side, there's like a big light that shows bright. But if I turn, let me show you, for example, if I turn this off, I have, let's talk about lighting. Okay. If I turn that lighting off, it's dim. So I now only have the lighting from the window. You need to have ring lights at least, okay? And the ring lights help because it gets the front sections of, but you don't need drastic amounts of things. I mean, you could build, like I did, I built my own setup. These were originally red, and I was only using it for music production because I just needed it for sound. But now that I've started filming and having discussions, this now has been switched over to a filming environment, so the white background was necessary. But if I had the nails and I was doing my hair and constantly focused on the way I looked, I would not have the time to create my own music and build my own equipment and create my own fashion and do my Poshmark, because my hands would be so hard to move around with those nails that I would nothing would get done. So it's a quick talk. I just wanted to talk about saving money, buy things that will last forever. If you're going to buy clothing that is timeless. If you don't have that money, you make your own clothing like I do sometimes. Knitting is a good idea, and you can always sell the things that you make on platforms. You know, I don't use Etsy. I had a horrible experience on Etsy. I tried selling, and they were overcharging me for some things that I was never selling in the first place. So I did not use Etsy. I was more satisfied with Poshmark because once you had it up, you didn't have to constantly pay every month to keep and maintain that product up. Etsy, they constantly charge you to keep the product up on their space. Sorry. On their space, which I thought was absolutely outrageous. So I stopped. Then I did the Poshmark, and I was much more satisfied with how the outcome came through that. Never tried eBay. I hear eBay is having a couple of problems now. There are other platforms. Depop, I have Depop, but Depop, people want things for next to nothing. So it becomes a big question. Luckily, I have skills in multiple areas because that is what I've done. Even when I was doing my master's and bachelor's, I was always jumping between art and music and fashion. It was just part of my process as an artist. I'm sort of glad I do that because now I can create things without hiring people. Once again, saves money. So if you have skills, you can save money, thousands and thousands of dollars by learning how to do the skills on your own, like building websites, all of that stuff. It matters. I have a whole business section on discussing that. Okay, thank you for popping over. Would still like to know who's coming over and watching me. Please leave a message or a comment. I know that one person is specifically watching all the time. I do appreciate it. I do. Maybe it's Jenny. I don't know. It would be nice. or yeah. So, okay, so I'm gonna head on out, but I thought it was important to bring this up because people try to overdo themselves and to get those views, but I'm telling you right now, sorry, in the one video that I went semi-viral on another platform, 40,000 views on that platform made me $75. Okay, just one platform. It wasn't even anything. I hear that YouTube doesn't even pay that much for 40,000 views. So just imagine if you had 100,000 views and you got maybe $50 for the 100,000 views on YouTube, how satisfied would you be? Or would you prefer to sell something, make your own stuff, sell it on a platform, put it up, be consistent on those platforms as well, which I'm trying my best to do, and Try your best to earn $100 off of an item that you sell. Off the bat, one day, you receive the money in 3 days. You don't have to wait you don't have to wait for that $100 to pass the line on YouTube. You just instantly make the money. 3 days later, it goes right into your bank account, and that's how I like it. Even when you're working in jobs, you wait maybe you wait 2 weeks, then they pay you the month before for that particular job or whatever it is you're doing. When I was teaching music, I wasn't earning a lot. Maybe I was making $20,000 a year. It was not much, but more than what I'm making now. $20,000 a year, and every 2 months, every other, I think it's midweek, mid-month, every month, twice a month, you would earn the income. You would get like a lump sum, and they would put it in your bank account, and that's how you would make the money. When you do Poshmark, you sell something, or any other platform, you sell something, the client buys it, within 3 days that item sells or whatever. It arrives at the person's place, 3 days later, you're earning money. So, I don't know. I mean, each place is different, but I find that selling products is going to be a lot easier to earn money if you're trying to make money than to force yourself to look a certain way, to go absolutely bananas and spending a fortune on money, fortune on yourself, looking a certain way just for that image to go viral, only to receive less than what you've put into your own looks and appearances for that particular video. It's a disaster. So you have to think about how you're going to perform or present yourself correctly without going bananas on here. I mean, I'd rather use my brain than to worry about how I look on. This was never a thought of appearance. This was just something I liked having white equipment, because when I did shows and performances with students, they liked having a white keyboard. I have another keyboard that my students do use. Another keyboard, or students did use. I have one student now. It's interesting. So thank you again. I do appreciate you popping over. I'm sure it's the same person every time. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much, and I will leave it there because I just think people have the wrong impression on what you should look like versus what it really is about. And I would rather have the skills like I have and build everything up myself without panicking about how I look too much. I mean, yeah, look presentable, but don't go bananas off of it and spend a fortune on all of these things, because in the end, you're going to be left with nothing. What if the app disappears and electricity goes off? Well, what skills do you have to offer if you have an emergency situation? So that's my go-to. Coming from a person who actually studied the arts, we are people, we are creators that create things out of survival and necessity. And as an artist, I learned how to create things with the minimal amount of money and the easiest way to generate money. And that is how I do things. So if you have business questions, either leave them on here or look at my business section of my channel. I have courses, music department course, business department course, fashion department course. I have set this channel up for free education on here. Anything outside of the YouTube that I've set up on here would obviously charge. I would have to charge people. But this is the place where you can find reasonable answers. I answer a few of them. If you have any questions, feel free to answer. My name is Cinta once again, and thank you for popping over. I just want people to be very sure that they understand that how you look could cost you technically your life. Because if you find yourself in debt, then what do you do? Okay, have a wonderful day, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.